Bueno, muy buenas tardes a todos. Le doy la bienvenida a todos los espectadores que siempre nos acompañan en este espacio de webinars. Soy Alfredo Antunes, coordinador del área de formación continua de UMSA, y hoy tenemos el honor de tener a una decana, Fabiana Lacelle, que con mi tonada le cambio el apellido, pero, pero va a presentar a nuestra invitada de la fecha, nuestra expositora, y dará inicio a la webinar del día de la fecha. Buenas tardes, Fabiana.
Buenas tardes, Alfredo. Now we change languages. Hello, everyone, and welcome to UMSA and to the School of Modern Languages. My name is Fabiana Lacelle, or Lacelle as you wish, and I'm very happy that you have all joined our first webinar on phonology. Well, today you will be listening to Noelia Rania Bonacci. She is a graduate teacher of English, and she specializes and teaches phonology and phonetics. So, Noelia, welcome, and thanks for your speech.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So I'll start sharing my presentation so we can start. So, can you listen to me correctly? Can you see the screen correctly? No problems? Is it okay? Can you see my screen? No problems? Great, so let's start. So today we are talking about ways to improve our pronunciation in English. How can I improve my pronunciation if I don't use it every day? I have really lots of problems with it. So let me tell you, today we are talking about pronouncing English difficult sounds, and we are thinking about presenting another webinar connected to techniques for fluent speech. So today we are focusing on difficult sounds, two sets of difficult sounds, and later on we are presenting another webinar, we may be presenting another webinar about fluent speech. So just in case you're interested, to pay attention to our postings at UMSA. So, first of all, let's talk about the main principles, how to improve our pronunciation. We've got two main rules, let's say, and the first one is about paying attention to native speakers. But it is not about listening for understanding, it's about focused listening. Paying attention to sounds, rhythm, the way the native speaker chooses to pronounce sounds. It may be in songs, movies, series. For instance, you love a movie and you know the dialogues within it, so you pay attention to that dialogue and you take notes, you reflect on the way the native speaker pronounces not only words and sounds, but the phrase of the complete phrase. So that's important. And the other technique is about practicing every time. Every time you get the chance to practice, do so. For instance, here today. So, even though I cannot listen to you, I do recommend you to move your muscles, move your mouth. Practice. You are sitting at home, it doesn't matter. Do answer to my questions, do move your lips, because pronouncing is about training your muscles. If you do not train, you won't be able to pronounce correctly. You have to think about sounds and take any chance you get to pronounce, to train, to get used to moving, to forcing strength out of your lungs. It's training and training and training. So, connected to that, let me talk to you about this. We've got words in everyday life. Whenever we are talking to a friend or a colleague or a family member, we use words in English a lot. We use them regularly. So do try and think of the correct way to pronounce them when you're talking in everyday life, such as Facebook. Do not say Facebook. No, train your muscles. Say Facebook. Google, Bluetooth, notebook, email, brainstorming, trending topic. It is not trending, no, it's trending topic. Feedback, YouTube, selfie. It's not selfie, it's selfie. Brainstorming. Do train your muscles every time. And also, doubt. Do not take for granted that is, if we use those English words every day, we are pronouncing them correctly. This is not true at all. I've picked some examples of words which we do not pronounce correctly. So doubt and look the correct pronunciation. Look the words up in a dictionary. Look for the correct pronunciation. Check, revise, listen to native speakers once again when pronouncing. So this is catering. It's not catering, no, it's catering. Levi's, home theater, anti-aging, Photoshop, Nike, Cambridge. So have I mentioned eco-friendly? We generally mispronounce this. So do look what's up. So now let's talk about the topic we are dealing with today, which is sounds, English difficult sounds in particular. So I've prepared 2 sets of difficult sounds. We've got 1 set of difficult sounds, and then you've got an instance of practicing pronunciation. As I've mentioned, sadly, I cannot hear you I cannot listen to you when you are talking, but do train your muscles to answer, to participate, because through participating, through enjoying the game and training, you are improving and learning. And then we've got another set of difficult sounds. But now, let me introduce the topic a bit. So we've got mispronouncing some sounds at work may bring about problems, challenges, misunderstandings. So do listen to this non-native speaker mispronouncing while talking, and try to guess. Even I would really love if you could write your answers in the chat box. What's the matter here? To listen to it.
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
Sam, what was the matter here? Could anyone guess the problem? Would you share it in the chat box? Exactly, Andrea, thanks for participating. It's a problem with the pronunciation of just one sound. Of course, we can guess it from context, of course, but we've got thinking and thinking. And this is one of the sounds we are talking about in this first set of difficult sounds in English. Thinking, this sound. So I've chosen 2 Indian accents, 2 people speaking in Indian accents, for you to try and guess what they are saying. Once again, please write in the chat box your answer if you wish to, or take notes of as many words as you can understand. You may find this challenging, of course. I've picked an Indian accent, because they made many mistakes we do as well. We share lots of common mistakes with Indian accents, with the people speaking in English, Indian accent. So that's why I've chosen this one. And also, as a way of showing you when you are talking to a person from another country with a different background, if you mispronounce sounds, the other person may find it really, really difficult to understand what you're saying. So do listen to the man talking and try to understand what he's saying. And you may, once again, write it down. I answered in the chat box if you wish to.
Yes, I was, but after I went to United States, I thought they spoke wrong English, so I made fun of their English, so it doesn't make any difference to me.
Could you? What was he saying? So challenging, isn't it? Let me share what he was saying. He was saying this. I'll play it again so you can understand it now.
Yes, I was, but after I went to United States, I thought they spoke wrong English, so I made fun of their English, so it doesn't make any difference to me.
It is really what he's saying. But I do understand if many of you had difficulties understanding it. When we are talking from a non-native person to a non-native person, we've got barriers everywhere. That's why we need to practice and try to avoid this accents. Let's try the second one. Who can write in the chat box the answer?
I think our accent is better than theirs because I think they are like not that good. It looks like they're spitting.
Well, I think
sorry,
yes.
Sorry, not offensive. It looks like they're spitting, and I think our accent is better.
Anyone? Oh, really challenging, isn't it? Once again, he was saying this.
I think our accent is better than theirs because I think they are like not that good. It looks like they're spitting.
Well, I think
sorry,
yes.
Sorry, not offensive. It looks like they're spitting, and I think our accent is better.
Great. We've got some answers in the chat box. Some of you could understand what they were saying. So I'm not talking about being better or this is not about a better accent, the best accent ever. It's about being intelligible. And by pronouncing sounds and rhythm correctly, it is easier for non-natives from another culture, with a different language to understand what we are saying. So, one of the issues Indian people have, and also we have, is pronouncing these sounds. And these are the sounds we are talking about now. We are trying to get techniques to pronounce them correctly. We've got da, tha, and the. So do not worry about names or theory. We are discussing it later on. But let me show you why these sounds are important. So in the first audio, the sounds appeared in many words, and we had difficulties pronouncing the phrases, understanding the phrases. The same happened here. If you get a chance to rewatch this webinar and you do start paying attention to what these people is saying, you will really get it. It is challenging to understand what they are saying because of these problems in accent, with these problems in sounds. So, now let's talk about the text. So, Noelia says, our accent is better than theirs, but Indian people say, our accent, they were saying, you were answering the question, you were understanding what they were saying. Now I understand, you're right, he was saying that. Good guessing, Noelia Peralta. Thanks for sharing and participating. Also, Marcos, there's lots of participation. I love it because I do think interacting, answering questions helps us be attentive and learning. So thanks a lot for participating. So, tip number one. We go back to the main rules, the main principles, and I've mentioned it is important to listen carefully, attentively to native speakers. So, what are we doing now? I'm playing some audios of words in isolation. And I'd love for you to try to write in the chat box whether the words take sound number 1, sound number 2, or sound number 3. We've got da, number 1, dia, do, number 2, think, thanks, and number 3, they, their. So do try and guess. Listen and try to write down your answers, because listening and identifying sounds is the first step to pronounce correctly.
Van, van, van.
Which one was it? 1, 2, or 3? Who got it? So there's a bit of a delay. So I'm waiting. It's okay. I can see you are not seeing it. At the same time, I am. So I'll be patient. Okay. Farah said number 3. Exactly. Great job. Marcos also, Natalia. Great. Well done. Okay, let's try the second one.
They.
What is it? Once again, number 3. They. Great. You're really good at recognizing the sound by listening.
Day.
Well, this one, the third, listening. It's number 1, Gladys. Great job. This one was number 1. See, the following.
Weather.
This one, weather. This one's number 3, weather. Let's have a look at the following.
Dare.
What about this one? What is it? Which number is it? There. It's number 1.
Month.
Well, this one. Number 2, month. Great job, Maria Fernanda. Number 2, month. Great job. Okay.
Don't.
This one? What about this one? This one was number 1. Don't. Perfect, Sophia. Great job. So, just in case you were wondering, I've got the answers here. We've missed them because as there's a bit of it, I cannot see what you are writing in real time. It takes lots of time. So here we've got the answers. We had day, dare, don't, date, month, thousand, healthy, north, then, they, weather, northern, brother. We've not listened to brother, but it was there. Okay, so now, if you couldn't understand or identify sounds when listening, I do recommend you to train it. To go to Realia, to go to maybe the Cambridge Dictionary and listen to the words while looking at the sounds. But now we are talking about tip number 2. We've got dental sounds. Dental sounds happen in the teeth. And for dental sounds, your tongue sticks out. Yes. This is a real native, not exaggerating, not trying to act out. It's not an English teacher exaggerating the way the mouth is moving. No, it's a real native, and so he's pronouncing the word the way he knows it's pronounced. So do not feel odd by showing your tongue. I do recommend you sit in front of the mirror and having a look at your tongue showing out, sticking out. So that's really important. So we've got 2 sounds, 2 dental sounds, and they both are produced showing your tongue, with your tongue sticking out. Both of them. The only difference between them is this vibration of the vocal folds. So what should you do? You should show your tongue and then touch your neck, your vocal folds, to feel the vibration. When you've got the first sound, this one with no vibration, nothing happens. Air flows freely. So you say, I do recommend you try it at home, as I was saying, to take the chance and practice it. Do it in front of the computer. Practice it. Train your muscles. And then you've got vocal folds vibration. So you've got you see my tongue? So do touch your throat. You can also kind of play with it so you can get used to producing it. So you say no vibration. It vibrates. It vibrates. So please practice it. It's about practicing it, but paying attention to this sticking out of the tongue and this vibration of the vocal folds. Now we've got tip number 3, which is quite challenging for our country, for non-native speakers. And tip number 3 may sound a bit kind of a word, a really important word, this alveolar. Da is an alveolar sound. I do not care about the name, but that means we produce da with your tongue touching the same place as ta, the same place as ta. So whenever you want to produce da, think about this sound, T, train, top, the T sound. Have a look at this video, this short video, to know where to place your tongue when you produce da. It's not the same as Spanish. In Spanish, we say día, Dolores día, we stick our tongue. We shouldn't in English. So have a look at the video. That's where you must place your tongue, there, behind the teeth. Da, da. So, tip number 3 is about understanding and remembering da and ta are pronounced really, really similarly. I do not care about differences here because we are not training to be the best English speakers ever. This is about general tips and rules to pronounce the word correctly. So, a possibility is to remember da is pronounced similarly to ta, and have a look at a pair of words which are pronounced similarly except for the first sound. So you try and pronounce them without moving your tongue. Do not move your tongue. Your tongue is here all the time, no movement. So you say town, down, tie, die, tan, tan. If you have a look at the mirror and your tongue sticks out as in, I don't know, town, down, you are mispronouncing. You are using Spanish. D. Town, down, tie, tie, tan, tan, two, two, ten, ten, tame, tame, tent, tent. Do try it, please, please do try it. So you can practice. I'll give you some seconds for you to try it at home. Andrea, just for you to know, in Spanish, ta is not, you say tío, tío, here, tío, it's not dental. Día, yes, it is, but tío, no, tío is the same. Just answering your question there. Great, so let's move on. Let's go. Oh, I do love this game. It's about you reading my lips. So I'll turn the microphone off to see who can guess what I'm saying without listening to what I'm saying. Why? What is it for? Of course, it's for fun, but also if you have a look at my lips and my mouth, do pay attention to the sticking out of the tongue. So remember, there's no sticking out in da, but there is in and in so. Yes, it is, Andrea, you're right. So let's try. I'll turn off my microphone and to tell me which word is it. Any guessings? Any idea? Any guessings of which word was it? Could you type your answers in the chat box? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possibilities. Okay, interesting. Agustina, Lara, Vicky, you are saying day, but it cannot be day because have a look at my mouth. My tongue was sticking out. If my tongue sticks out, it is not in the first column. This is important for you to remember. It was thanks, thanks, thanks. I was pronouncing thanks, thanks. Let's try one more. This is quite challenging, isn't it? Let's try one more. Which one is it? Any ideas? Do not worry if you cannot guess it. It's about training and it's a game because it's difficult, it's challenging, so do not worry. Okay, Agustina says weather. Marcos, Mateo, great. Gladys, of course. Sophia, great. Thanks for participating. Yes, it's weather because my tongue sticked out. Weather. Great. Okay, the last one, the last opportunity. Who guessed it? Let's see. Anyone? Which one was it? Great. I do love your participating. I'm so happy. I'm reading everyone's answers. This is really good for us teachers because we know we are doing it. It's funny. We know what we are doing is funny. Dollar. It was dollar. Exactly. Great. My tongue did not stick out. Dollar. Great. Perfect. Great. So I hope I do hope this helped, and some of you remember no sticking out of the tongue for da. Okay, let's move on. So another tip number 4, we've got practice practice contrasting these words. Practice contrasting these words. Okay, so we've got similar words which are pronounced similarly, but the only difference between them is one sound. This is called minimal pair, but I do not care about labeling. Once again, no technical issues today. But so we've got one column with words, and the second one has almost the exact same pronunciation, except for the sound we are practicing. And that's really helpful. Being able to change your lips, your tongue movement, only in one sound is really, really helpful. Exactly, Andrea, minimal pairs. Thanks for writing it down. So we've got they, do, the, Saturn, southern, there, header, have, dawn, and here we've got the third one. We've got dawn, thorn, worthy, worthy. So do take some seconds to try and pronounce them, practice a bit, and then I'll move on. Okay, let's go. Do remember training is important. Do take advantage of this possibility of training at home. Tip number 5, this is quite interesting. How to pronounce na in this context. Why? Because, so let's do something. I'll read the phrase. You try and answer in the chat box. What is it? So you have a look at the picture and answer my question and answer what am I thinking about. But after we play, you try and pronounce the phrases and you'll see they are quite challenging. So later on, I'm giving you a tip on how to pronounce them easily. So, number 1, what is it? I'm thinking about something in the safe. What is it? Look at the image. I'm thinking about something in the safe. Any guessings? Anyone? No guessings? Okay, I'll move on. So we've got money or cash or coins, whatever. Great, gold, it's another possibility, Stefan. Thanks a lot. But now, do try and pronounce that phrase as quickly. That's what's challenging, pronouncing it quickly. I'm thinking about something in the safe. Let's do number 2. What is it? Money, money. Perfect. Good answers. Dollars, okay, but there's no green here. So let's move on. I'm thinking about something on the table. I'm thinking about something on the table. What is it? No ideas? Flowers, the flowers, great. The cup, perfect, good answers, great. But once again, do try at home to pronounce the word, the phrase really quickly. Do try saying, I'm thinking about something on the table. And they are both so challenging. And I'll tell you why. Because na is really difficult to, it is really difficult to pronounce na when we've got this sound after it. So what do we do? How do we pronounce na in this context? We pronounce na a bit closer to the teeth. So you say in. Your tongue starts sticking out sooner, let's say. So you say in the, on the. This is called dentalization. Exactly, great. In the, on the. So that will help you pronounce the phrase quicker and easier, which is quite funny because we teach at school, we teach prepositions of place really at early stages, but pronouncing them is really challenging. So it's always a funny fact. So you have, I'm thinking about something in the safe, to try it. I'm thinking about something on the table. Now let's do two more, because you are answering loudly. Let's see. I'm thinking about something under the table. I'm thinking about something under the table. You're right, Andrea. We do it in Spanish as well. But we do something different because of the place. The cat. Great. Good answer, Lara. The cat. Great. Now, this phrase is really challenging. We ask students, really young students, to pronounce this phrase quickly, and it's really challenging. So whenever you're at home and you remember, I do need to train my English, my pronunciation. Do think of these phrases because they are quite challenging. Because you've got under, no tongue, under, the tongue, really challenging. And the last one, we've got, I'm thinking about something in front of the window. I'm thinking about something in front of the window. Anyone? Any answers? Okay, no answers. Maybe the table or whatever. The vase, again, it's a possibility. It depends on the which way you are looking through the window or from outside. So both are possible, I do imagine. So that's another tip. Remember to make your na, your n a bit front in the future. So those were that was the first set of 3 difficult English sounds. Do we have any questions, Fabiana, from this part of the presentation? Would you like, is anyone asking anything?
So far there have been no questions, lots of participation, mainly in the last part, where they were expressing the things they could say and in front of the window. But so far, no questions.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Right,
remember that you may ask all the questions through the box you've got on Facebook, right?
Great, so let's move on. Pronouncing difficult sounds too. So another set of difficult sounds. But now I'd like you to guess the sounds. So what will I do? I'll play the words, you listen to the words, and you try and guess. Which sounds are we talking about now? So let's do the first sound.
President. President. Zoo. Zoo.
Which sound is that one? Any ideas? Oh, perfect, Victoria. Great. Za. Now, the other one, number 2.
envy, envy, everyone, everyone.
Any ideas? Vai, Tela, great, good guessing. Va, great. And the last one, which is, these three are quite challenging generally, but let's see this one. I don't think you won't be able to answer them. Do listen to it, to try and recognize it.
Pleasure, pleasure.
Measure, measure.
So that's the third one. And the sounds we're going to reflect on now are za, va, and ja. The three of them are quite challenging. So let's try it. Try to pronounce this phrase at home. So you say, we went to the zoo as a present. Zoo as a present. We went to the zoo as a present, which is unusual, which is unusual. We went to the zoo as a present, which is unusual. To try it. It's really challenging. So now let's play. Yes, Za is a nightmare. The three are really difficult. Okay, so now, as I've told you before, listening, identifying sounds and being able to get the sound, listen to it and distinguish it from context is really important. Is one of the main principles for pronouncing. Identifying the sound when listening to a native speaker pronounce it. So we are trying that now. So you've got to listen to the words and tell me whether it's sound number one, za, or sa, which would be number 4, because it's within the group we are not talking about today. Va or ba, ba. And ja or sha, ja or sha. So the tricky part here is about distinguishing number 1, 2, and 3 from number 4. So are you ready to? I do love your participation. You are talking a lot. So to try and guess number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
University.
I'll play it again.
University.
Any guessings? Number 2. It was number 2.
Pleasure.
I'll play it again.
Pleasure.
Any guessings? Number 3. It was number 3. Let's try another.
Envious. Envious.
Number 2 again, envious. Let's try another one.
Enclosure. Enclosure.
Number 3. But be careful because some of number 4s will come up.
Assurance, assurance.
This one was number 4. Assurance. It was not number 3. It was number 4. Assurance.
Bless you.
What about this one? It was number 4 as well. It's bless you. It is not number 2. It's number 4. Bless you.
Horizon.
Horizon. What number is it? Horizon. Number 1. Horizon. Number 1.
Exhausted.
Exhausted. Number 1. I do love your participating. There are so many answers in the chat box. Thanks a lot. So let's move on to the answers because of time. So here you've got the answers. Some words we couldn't listen to because there's not so much time. Yes. So let's move on to the tips. So I do recommend you, as I was saying before, to try and pronounce the words. So if you got the chance to go back to the YouTube channel and read the words and listen to the words and pronounce the words, please do it because it's really helpful. But let's move on to the tips because of time. So how can I pronounce these 3 sounds correctly? Because that's the challenge. Of course, I do imagine many of you have difficulties identifying them as well, because learning is stepping. You learn step by step. So some are here, some are here, some are there. We all face challenges and we keep on learning and improving, but pronouncing them is really challenging. So let's move on to the tips. A really helpful tip is finding a similar sound in Spanish to use as a guide. So we've got va, za, and ja, which are really challenging, but they have a similar, really similar sound, which exists in Spanish, let's say. So we've got fa, as in friend, few, face, and that's the same in Spanish. So you do not move your lips, you do not move your tongue, you don't move anything. You touch your vocal folds and they should vibrate for va. So you say, and then you make your vocal folds vibrate with strength and you produce va. Do not move any other muscle. So you say, or organ or whatever. So you say, to try it, please train. And that's the way to pronounce va. Yes, we are saving the video. I do think so. Oh, sorry. I was having a look at the chat box and I got confused. So we've got the other one. That's the same as ours. Solve the situation, whatever. So you pronounce that sound. You do not move your tongue. Do remember not to move your tongue. And you produce the other sound by making your vocal folds vibrate. If you're not sure whether they are vibrating or not, to touch them. When you produce the first sound, there's no movement here. And when you make them vibrate, you can feel this tinkling. So you say, do not move your tongue. Do remember that. And that's the way to pronounce za. And finally, we've got these 2. The symbols may be a bit complex for people who've not studied phonetics, but the first one is quite simple because it is the one we use when we want another person to be silent. So we say, shh, shh, be quiet, shh. That one we can do easily. This one is the same, but with the vibration of the vocal folds. So, do produce the first sound, do not move your tongue, and make your vocal folds vibrate. To practice. So you say, shh, shh. Please, do try it. It's a bit challenging, but it's really helpful, and you will get to it. And once you get it, you can produce it easily. So you say, shh. don't imagine you pronouncing them at home, and I'm really happy about it. So let's have a look at the tip number 3. So another one is about listening to native speakers, as I've mentioned before, and remembering words, remembering the way words are pronounced, because there are many instances in which the writing, the spelling of the words is not connected to the way it's pronounced. They are pronounced. So we've got, for instance, is. It takes a za. Is, his, was, Tuesday, exactly, prize, easy, as, visit, incredibly, visit, use, when it's a main verb, it takes a za. Do try and remember it. And okay, va is easier, but we've got ev. Ev takes a va. It's not off, it's ev. Then we've got ja. Usual, visual, television, precision, occasion, casual, revision, collision. So, do try and pronounce some of them. I'll give you some seconds to try and pronounce them. Practicing, training helps. Do it, please. No Instagram for me. I don't have. Just answering a question. Okay, let's move on. Tip number 4. Exaggerate these sounds when they are followed by a vowel. So whenever you've got one of these 3 sounds followed by a vowel, it's extra strong. It requires extra effort to pronounce it. So do exaggerate it. So you say, she is the treasure of a girl. She is the treasure of. She is the treasure of a girl. My garage is not as usual as yours. My garage is not as usual as yours. You should move a bit to avoid collision. Avoid. You should move a bit to avoid collision. Please, once again, take some seconds to try and pronounce them, exaggerate them, practice. And so, to finish this webinar today, I did have many more games and whatever, but time is sometimes is not as long as we wish to. So let's play a short quiz game. So you are paying attention, you are playing and learning, and through enjoying, you may learn as well. So, but there's a hint, there's a rule for playing this game. All the answers carry one of the sounds of the 3 sounds from this set. So either za, va, or ja. So do try answering the question, type in the chat box, but take into account the hint. So, what do we use it for? We use it for measuring. To try it, train, pronounce. We use it for measuring. We use it for measuring. Let's do one more. Where does the Pope live? Great, Vicky, good answer. He lives in the Vatican City. Here, he lives in the Vatican City. To try it, move your muscles, train, practice. He lives in the Vatican City. Let's do the other one. Which city did we visit? Visit, remember, visit. Which city did we visit? Visit. We visited Venice. We visited Venice. Good answers. Great. I do love your participation. Thanks a lot. We visited Venice. Agustina, do you remember we are using the sounds from we've practiced? Rome had no sound, so it's not possible. Which continent is this? This is Asia. This is Asia. To try to practice, to rewatch this video and pause it and practice and train your muscles. What's this? It is an avocado. It is an avocado. It is an avocado. To practice pronouncing. Great, Ana Laura, great answer. Vicky, great. Oh, I'll skip some of them. Okay, what does she do? She's a TV presenter. She's a TV presenter. What does he do? He's a bus driver. What's this? It's caviar. It's caviar. Where do you park this? I am running out of time. That's why I'm hurrying up. Sorry. In a garage. In a garage. In a garage. So that will be the end of the webinar because of time. I'm sorry. I do apologize. So to round up, I've invented a phrase using as many sounds as possible of the ones we've practiced, because through thinking and trying to use the sounds and practice them, you will get them finally. So even if it's a funny phrase, to try and remember it and repeat it whenever you're out or whenever you're bored, you try and pronounce that phrase. It's really useful as well. She is visiting Vienna and having caviar for pleasure. She is visiting Vienna and having caviar for pleasure. So that will be the end. So thanks for participating. I do hope you've learned and enjoyed it. And I do hope you found this really useful.
And Noelia, there have been a couple of questions. You've answered a couple of them also, but one of the students, I'm used to saying students, wants to know where you can get the phonetic symbols from Google. I think it was Vicky who suggested a site called IPA. Perhaps you know any other place where they can get the phonetic symbol?
Yes, we've got a Typey. I'll type it in the chat box.
Maybe it's that IPA.type.
Exactly, that one. It's that one.
Okay, so the one Vicky mentioned. The next question is for Alfredo. Preguntan si va a quedar grabado este video en Facebook o en algún sitio web para poder volver a verlo.
Sí, queda subido en Facebook, así que si lo quieren compartir o rever o recomendar, estará subido.
Well, two more questions. Where can I study or practice phonetics? Well, you can come to UMSA and study with Noelia if you want. That's one option. And then whether you have an Instagram account to follow you. Well, you have said you have no Instagram account, but there may be a second part to this webinar following, right?
Yes, of course. And that one will be connected to fluent speech, which is really important because we do not want to sound kind of, what is your name? Even with great sounds, we need to be fluent, which is really important as well.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Noelia. Really, it's been very useful, and you can see that most of the comments, or all the comments, say it's fantastic, and they have been able to practice, and they really enjoyed it. So thank you so much. Thank you all for attending this webinar, and well, we hope to meet you in our following webinars. Yes? Well, thank you very, very much.
Thanks a lot.
And whenever you want, you're welcome at UMSA.
Bueno, muchas gracias a todos, muchas gracias Noelia, muchas gracias Fabiana, y damos por finalizado el webinar del día de hoy.